Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. It is 62 degrees today in Adams County. Within Adams County is Gettysburg, and that is where we're headed today, as we always are. And I am now in the lovely little village of Fairfield. And yeah. Happy tax day to you all. I hope your progress fines weren't terrible this year. That's what I call them, progress fines. You do better, you get fined with a higher tax. Mine were actually good. Usually this is a very stressful time of year for me, but my accountant last year said we got to get your everything under control so you're not paying $15,000 or whatever at the end of the year. And I was like, great, because everything's so expensive, I can't save that anymore. So let's figure something out. And it was a much better tax bill this year. Although I still don't like having to pay it because I pay throughout the year now, again, or whatever. You know, the business pays taxes. I pay taxes. The business pays half my tax. It's, you know, a shitty system. Not gonna lie. But a lot better this year than it's been. So I am relieved for that. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Jim. So I'm going in to edit I guess it's going to be the last pre-recorded Ask a Guide until, well, because we're going to start doing them as live streams. July is going to have pre-recorded ones, so I guess it's not technically the last, but it's the last in the era of pre-recorded Ask a Guides, and now we'll be moving into live ones. I talked to a friend of mine, Dan, yesterday, who's more of a techie person than me. He helped me set up the studio with the new equipment and everything. And I was like, Dan, there's always a problem with the live stream. This happens, that happens. I'm like, I hate this system. And he's like, honestly, it's probably not the system. It's just the fact that you're asking it to do too much. And you get that answer every once in a while, but I guess the podcasters I watch are far more successful, and they've got a real, I have what's called a prosumer level of equipment, which is, quote unquote affordable equipment. It's not like one piece of equipment costs you $40,000 like the professional side of things. And so when you're dealing with prosumer, you're going to have those problems. I hope we can avoid them as much as possible when we start doing the live streams. The one thing that often seems to happen now, it used to be the picture freeze. Now it's the audio just drops out. So I don't know. I don't know. I just got to live with it and figure it out. It's not like, you people are knocking down the door to see us live, so we can work around it. But still, we hope that you will. We hope that in the future, people tune into the live shows. They look forward to them. I'm talking about Ask a Guides now, too. So there'll be 2 live streams every other week. Okay. When we get back to doing weekly AG Todays, there will be 2 every other week. But until then, you're going to have 3 live shows a month, 2 Ask a Guides and 1 AG Today for the foreseeable future as we try to free up time in our schedule to produce video content. Yes. Camille says, hi from France. Well, bonjour. That's all I know. And I probably didn't even pronounce it well. But hello, and welcome to Gettysburg. Don Dingle says, good morning all. Looks like a beautiful day. It is. It is a beautiful day. Right now the sun is being diffused by a cloud, so I'm in the shadow of it right now, and it makes me think, oh, well, no, we got some darker clouds over here, so maybe, maybe there's some hell coming. No, I don't know. Looking to the south and west, it looked, sorry, it was, I'm still turned around. Yeah, it was the south. Looking to the south out my window today, there was some darkness. I'm not gonna lie. John Davidson. Wow, John Davidson. I remember when you hosted the New Hollywood Squares. I loved that show. That was a big fan of that. With Shadow Stevens down on the bottom there, always playing with his Sharpie, and he always got the wrong answer. You know, he was playing the dumb blonde, I guess, and it was funny. And of course, Joan Rivers in the center square. Big fan of your work, Mr. Davidson. Thank you very much for joining me here. What did you say, John Davidson? Hey, rude man here. Oh, well, I always thought you were polite to all the guests and the celebrities on Hollywood Squares, but if you think you're rude, who am I to say you're not? I never met you, but you're welcome anyway. James, good morning. Good morning. Babra, hi, you're so unpredictable with these drives recently. I've always done them whenever I drive in, which is often unpredictable. Okay. Yeah. So basically then what you're saying is I'm predictable in my unpredictability, which makes me then predictable, but not to a T, but predictable to perhaps an O. A roundabout. Maybe he'll do it this time, maybe he won't. I think. Sorry for the shakiness of the cameras here, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, James. Flying Flynn Media says, good morning from Portage. Good morning from Portage. Or do you pronounce it Portage? Phil, thank you very much for the $10. That helps towards Gasohol. And, by the way, and you said, thanks, Matt. So let's get into the habit of, you just sent a $10 super chat, and I read it. Thanks, Matt. Phil, Matt. So now I'm getting into the habit of looking for them and reading them, so that when you guys get in the habit of doing a $10 super chat on the guide, we will ask your question to the guide in the show. If you want to save yourself some money, just keep mooching off of us for free while I feed everybody and bankrupt myself, then you can just call in. That's one way to do it. You can call in and ask the question to the guide, which actually we would like you to do that, not preferring it over contributing to the production of the show, the cost of the show, but we would like you to do that because we think that will be better for you, the listener, and also better for the guide. The guides like talking to you guys, and they like answering your questions. And so, I think the audience will also like to hear that interaction. Just keep it short and sweet if you can. We don't need a whole diatribe about the research you've done or whatever. You can talk about the research you've done, but we don't need to know every book you read and when it started. And we're not interviewing you. You're interviewing the guide. You need to ask the guide a question, so go ahead. So just, boom, 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 bullet points and get to the question. And then you can have a discussion with the guide after he answers the question or she answers the question. The first, maybe that answers it. You don't have a follow-up. Maybe you do. That's the beauty of the phone call. with these super chats, you either got to call in or get another super chat, because I'm not going to be able to. I don't know what they look like to you, but to me they come in a yellow box, so it's very easy to see. I'm not going to be looking for follow-ups from you there. So if you wanted to have a follow-up, you'd have to call in or get another super chat. I don't know why it's so complicated, but that's what happens when you're on a shoestring budget. You gotta, complicated things. John says, are you enjoying the drive? Unlike me, I don't have a car. I am enjoying the drive. I do like a good drive, which is why it sucks that gas is so expensive, because sometimes it's nice to just go for a drive, a Sunday drive, as they say. Especially around here, it's just beautiful. And then you see these big, beautiful estates, and you're like, what the hell do these people do for a living? And why can't I figure out how to do that? Miles from your neighbor. Or at least you can delude yourself into thinking you're miles from your neighbor. Beautiful. It's beautiful. Morning, Ron from Chicago. Morning to you. Matt Kelly says, good morning from New Jersey. We should do that, everybody. When you check in and you comment, like, where you're from. I'm always curious to know where people are. John Davidson said, I wish I had a car. Well, I don't know your situation. I don't know why you don't have one, but hopefully you do get one day. Ron Smith said, Hosses think 70s Sizzler. Sizzler, when you're hungry for fun. No, that was Bennigan's. What was the Sizzler? What was their slogan? I don't remember Sizzlers. Sizzlers, I think, were kind of on the wane as I was like approaching my teenage years. They were still around in my teenage years, but they didn't last much longer after that. And I don't remember if there was one near me, so I've never been to a Sizzler. Oh, John Davidson is 16. That's why you don't have a car. Oh, you got all the time in the world. You'll get a car. You might have 7 cars. You never know. So you didn't understand any of my spiel about enjoying you when you were the host of the Hollywood Squares, because you weren't even born when John Davidson was the host of the Hollywood Squares. So you wouldn't even know who the heck John Davidson is. So there I am showing my age. Matt Kelly says, can you swing by the Klingel farm and get an update on it? I know it's rough. Okay, you know what we'll do? Sorry, we'll go straight here. And, well, that was stupid. Why did I do that? All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna turn in here. All right, we've got the carriage ride. Beautiful, beautiful horses. Sizzler's slogan is great steak, seafood, and salad. That's boring. Like, what about, Sizzler, burning your tongue, or Sizzler? That's all I got. Sizzler, like a cat on a hot tin roof. Yeah, something like that. Reading aid says, morning from Northern Virginia. That's my second neck of the woods growing up. I'm gonna drive up to Gettysburg on Thursday morning, but low is 34. But what's the high? I know, I looked at the forecast for the week, and it looks like it's gonna be nicer later in the week or early next week. But so here's our Klingel farm. up here. Let me just pull over for a second. Speaking of pulling over, for the tour, if you're coming to our Get Out of the Car tour next week. Hold on, let me go this way because it's not going to make sense. Parking, I got a call from Pam over at the park yesterday, and parking is tricky. You have to stay on the road, keep all four wheels on the road, do not block any monuments, do not park in the picnic area lot, do not park on Warren Avenue. Write that down. And I will, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll update you on AG today. Okay, so here's the south side of the house. Hold on, let this guy go. All right. And here, here's the front. But the real treat is the side. Now, I don't know for certain, but the scuttlebutt is this is a good lesson in not using latex paint on a log cabin on the exterior, because it traps the water and rots the wood. That's what I hear. All right, John Davidson, let's see here. It's high as 60. Okay, 60 is not bad reading aid. It's better than 30 or 0, right? Jeffrey says, morning from Buffalo, which of course is the French names means city of suffering. Don says, don't get close to Devil's Den. No, I won't. I won't go down there. Okay. John says, I got exams in 15 days. You got any advice for these? Yeah. Study. And if that isn't possible, then pray. And if you don't know how to do that, then kiss your ass goodbye. Because you're repeating your sophomore year or whatever you are, junior year. That's what I would say. You have exams in early May? Or is that late April? What day is it? I don't know. It sounds early. When do you get out of school? Lance says, morning from New York. John Davidson also was a hockey player for the Rangers and Blues. That's right. There's a lot of famous John Davidsons. Paul says, have you seen the recent National Park Service Minutemen Park reel about visiting for the 250th? Sorry, I missed that somehow. Why? What about it? Do they say, here's all the list of rules that you're never going to remember and 90% of you aren't even going to ever hear, and then we're going to yell at you when you don't follow them? That one? Or do they not do that here or there? Don says, do not pass go, do not collect $200. That's pretty much the way it's been going. Matt Kelly says, I really hope they can bring it back to low. It's a shame what happened to it. You're welcome for swinging by. Do you mean bring it back to life? I think I know what you mean. Just bring it back. You hope they can bring it back. I think they can. NPS in Massachusetts has a sense of humor. Oh, okay. I haven't seen it, but I'll look. I think Matt, I think they'll be able to bring it back. Put it like this. The technology, the know-how, the people to do it exist in this world. I don't know where they are with the money for it. I think I've heard that they do have money, or some of the money they're going to need for it. I don't know what the holdup is. I'm sure um, it'll be some kind of misplaced blame, but I don't know. I don't know. It is a good question to find out. I would be interested to find that out. All right, so let's see. Before I get my morning coffee, which I desperately need because I forgot to have a cup this morning at home, I'm going to take you to Culp's Hill, because what is a trip around Gettysburg without going to Culp's Hill? And the answer is incomplete. John Davidson says, I have a motorbike though, lost my balance and crashed one time. Now I'm traumatized. Yeah, yeah. You know what you got to do, man? You got to just get back on the horse, or in this case, the motorbike. Just be careful. Don't be an ass. I don't know why people have to be asses. Don't be an ass. Just enjoy riding the bike. Just be happy that you have the bike and ride it carefully. And accidents are still going to happen. That's why they call them accidents, is not on purposes. And, you just got, life is full of these things that are going to traumatize you. But you have to work through it. You got to keep going. That thing that traumatizes you is a minute, an instant, a second. But you still have the rest of your life to live. So don't be afraid. And if you enjoy it, get back on there, face your fear. You can do it. Everybody does it. That's how the human race has survived for tens of thousands of years. You just do it. And sometimes, my friend, it is that easy. It's insensitive to say, just get over it and move on. But that's exactly what you have to do. James Thompson says, is Days Inn by Wyndham okay to stay at? Where is that? Is that the one on 30? I don't know. I generally don't stay at Days Inns. I don't know why. The Comfort Inn on Steinware is very good. That's well run, and we always stayed there when we would come down. Before I moved here, that's where we would stay. We loved staying there because you're right there in the middle of everything. You can walk to the Dobbin House for dinner. You can walk to the bus tours for your double-decker bus. You can walk to the battlefield. For a short period of time when we were coming, you could walk to the visitor center because it was right next door. You still technically could walk to the visitor center from there, but I'm too old and fat. Who wants to do that? So I don't. But I also don't stay there anymore because I live here now. But you get the point. I don't know of the Comfort Inn, though. I can't answer your question there. I don't even know where that is. I mean, I'm guessing that's on 30, right? When I have people who come to town and they stay at hotels, the one that people mostly stay at, the top three that people mostly stay at are the Inn at Cemetery Hill, or whatever it's called, the 1863 Inn of Gettysburg, or whatever that's called, and the Comfort Inn, or the Best Western right across the street, owned by the same family, I believe. And both are very nice. Very nice. Take care. They're clean. They're always clean. It's a nice staff. I always recommend those. The Reliance Mine, the world famous Reliance Mine, is in the Comfort Inn, or I'm sorry, the Quality Inn, and those are on Steinware Avenue. John Davidson says, who is your inspiration? Mine is Lionel Messi, the soccer player. I don't know. It depends on what you mean. I don't have... there's a lot of people that inspire me for different reasons. So I guess it's hard to answer that. We just did a show yesterday about one of the people who I at least admire, if not am inspired by, and he fought on the hill that we're gonna go to. Not this part of the hill that we're going up right now, but when we go down and come up again, that's where his men were. His name was George Sears Green, inventor of the color green and founder of the Sears department store, Sears and Roebuck. First was a catalog. And so he's an inspiration for his entrepreneurial spirit, of course. No, that was a joke. He didn't do those things. He didn't invent the color green. Okay, guys. What was I saying? Oh, yes, his men, Green's Brigade, fought. You kind of see their monuments through the trees a little bit. Let's see if I can point one out to you. There is one poking through. That's actually a 6th Corps monument. It's not one of his, but where those monuments are is roughly where his men were fighting. Some 1,400 men against almost 5,000 of them. And he was able to do it. And he was a solid leader. But you know, there's other people in all different. I'm more and more inspired these days by people who have gone through some shit and made their lives better and didn't sit there whining about it and demanded the world take care of them because something bad happened to them once. I like someone who's like, yeah, I was a heroin addict. I was so bad, I was shooting Jack Daniels into my veins when I ran out of heroin and blah, 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 blah. And I almost died, and I did die 2 times, and yada, yada, yada. I lost my wife, I lost my house, I lost my kids, I lost my family. My dog died in a terrible blimping accident, and all because of my heroin use. But here I am now, the CEO of a very successful company. I have a wife and beautiful children, and like, oh, look at this, it's night and day. And those people, because those are real life problems. Yes, a soccer star is good. When you're 16, that's something to aspire to, for sure. We admire people's talents at that age and all that other stuff. But the older I get, the less I'm always impressed by talent, but they don't necessarily inspire me. They might inspire an idea, but what inspires me is somebody who's been at the bottom of the barrel and has not only pulled himself up and out of the barrel, but has built something, or just bettered himself. You know, that in a general sense, that's what does it for me now. Because I'll tell you something there, John Davidson, life ain't easy. And once you get out there and you start getting some bloody noses, and I don't mean literal bloody noses, but when life just beats you down and you try and you try and you try and nothing works, and you know, if you have that type of experience, not everybody has that experience, but if you do, it's tough. And then you realize, like, forget being a superstar in soccer, man. Like, I'd like to at least make general manager at the Piggly Wiggly, and I can't even do that. And then that's where you kind of put everything in perspective, and you put yourself in perspective, and you can start approaching life in a more realistic manner. I'm not saying you're not realistic. I don't know you, but in a general sense, I'm more speaking about myself when I was younger. I was stupid. That's what I'm saying. I'm stupid. Don says, where are we meeting next week for the Get Out of the Car tour and no parking on the Warren or Pig? Yes. Okay. So I don't know. The website should have that information. I don't memorize. I don't write these tours, so I don't memorize them because I can't memorize anything other than my social security number, which I think I forgot already. But it's on the website. So go to addressinggettysburg.com and you go to the drop down under events, find Get Out of the Car tours. The schedule's there. Some of the dates need updating, but April is correct. I think we're meeting around the picnic area. I'm not sure, but that information should be over there. But yes, park on the road. Don't let a millimeter of your tire touch open, rough ground. All pavement. Do not block monuments. So there's little pull-offs in front of monuments sometimes. Don't park in those. Because when you get a permit, you become a second-class citizen, and you have to you have to allow for regular usage over your usage, even though you're paying. So don't park in any pull-offs. Don't park, especially in the picnic lot, because then you won't be able to. Then people won't be able to have a picnic or anything like that. And I'm being sarcastic with that second-class citizen stuff, although it is true. I don't really care. We don't want to get in the way of anybody. So yeah. So you can park along South Confederate Avenue. I guess if you wanted to, you could park along West Confederate Avenue, but just don't block anything, because if you get a ticket, I don't want you crying to me. All right, because I've warned you, and I'm going to warn you again on Thursday, and we might even put it on the website as well. I'll try to get it out there as much as I can. Do not park on Warren, because some people like to park at the end so they don't have to walk all the way back. So don't park at Warren. You can park where all along South Confederate Avenue. Up on Big Round Top if you want to, down in the saddle between the round tops. You can park up to basically that intersection of Warren and Sykes Avenue, but not on Warren. And I would imagine that would include even the parking spaces in Warren. You can't park there because that's supposed to be for people who are going up to Little Round Top, which is already suffering a dearth of parking, and so we need to let those spaces stay open for the people that want to go to Little Round Top. So that is your directive. That is those are the rules, and we'll still have fun. All right, let's see here. Lance says those on 30 are okay. There's a couple together by Duncan. Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking. I don't know. I've never stayed there. And I can't remember. I don't think I know anybody who has. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. 6 Questions is here. Hello, everybody. You ever seen a bear in those woods? Not in those woods, but I have seen bears. Matt Kelly, just curious, what is your thoughts on the Wesley Culp's body might actually be? I'm pretty sure it's in the ground, Matt. As far as where he died or where he was buried, I don't know. It's just my thoughts are that it's one of those mysteries that maybe we'll know someday. He might, accidentally be unearthed or something, and something might identify him. I just think it's enough that he betrayed his country and he died on his home soil as a reminder, hey, you're a traitor. Don says 6Q is here. 6Q says hello to Don. Flying Flynn Media says Green is definitely a hero of Gettysburg. Absolutely. 6 Questions says John Davidson, I have seen many ghosts as bears in those woods. In other words, I never have, but I'm not discounting the possibility of their existence. Oh, I gotcha. Hello, Nellie. And Nellie says beautiful road. 6 Questions says that episode was great yesterday. Green had a remarkable life. Yeah, he really did. Good time coal hauling says courage is forged in the valley of struggle. If you do not have struggle in your life, then you will be weak. That is absolutely 100% correct. John Davidson said, hey, man, you could always visit me. I'm chilling with my homies in Death Valley, California. Don Dingle says, thanks. Yep, I will look at the website. And let me know if it is there, Don. I think it should be. It's supposed to be. Sixth question says, hello, good Matt Gillespie. Okay, great to see you. Great. CD, at what point is it no longer worth owning a car and selling it? I have a 16-year-old. I have no idea, but I'm glad you mistook this for Car Talk, because that was a very popular show. Okay, I gotta get coffee, and then I have to go edit. If you're a patron, I'll show you the eye bleeding editing session that I do today. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be an Ask a Guide, so we shall see. Maybe I'll let you choose if you watch. That's it. Have a great day, everybody. I would totally sell the car, CD.